Welcome to another very exciting week of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury here. Ryan Drury here, back from vacation, and man, what an exciting time for Midwestern Ontario hockey. It's championship celebration time, and you guys all know what I'm talking about, man. The Hanover Barons are your 2024-25 Schmalz Cup champions. I'm very pleased to be joined by two key members of the squad this year. Longtime captain Ryan Colquhoun, and of course, the playoff MVP himself, Derek Hartley, the netminder. Boys, how's it going? How's it feel to be champions?
Do you go ahead, bud?
Yeah, doing good. Feels unreal, to be honest with you. Boys battled hard that game, came back from a 4-1 deficit. That one felt really good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead, Callie.
No, I was just going to say it was our goal kind of from the start of the year to put ourselves in that position, and I think we did a good job at getting there, and we knew that we'd have to face some adversity at some point, and we did through every series, but especially in that final series, we never expected to go only 4 games. So being down 4-1, it was kind of a spot that personally I thought we'd have to battle back at some point, and that was kind of like the spot we were put in. So pretty unbelievable to come back from that and kind of knock it down ourselves and start thinking about maybe having to play that next day on Sunday, Mother's Day. So, yeah.
So I obviously, unfortunately, was not able to be there, and that was a huge bummer for me, but I was out in BC in the mountains, and I will tell you that I did have the broadcast on with Sabby and JK listening, and just as we lost service, I was heading into the mountains to camp, I heard the OT winner, and we were losing service in and out during the drive. And you guys were down 4-1, as you referenced, in that incredible Game 4 against Essex, who had a great season themselves. And then we lost service for a little while. I get the signal back, and Steve Sabourin says, "We're going to overtime." And I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to end it right here. And you guys did. Like, Callie, you touched on it briefly there. What the hell was that like? Because you're up 3-0, you're thinking, okay, we've got a pretty good hold on this series. We're feeling good about ourselves. You're down 4-1 in a really challenging road barn, and it swings back the other way. Like, it says an awful lot about your group.
Yeah. Kind of in between the second and third. There's definitely doubt, I'm not going to lie. But coming together, regrouping, getting a chat from our coaches. I mentioned in our post-game stuff there, Spencer Davidson spoke up, got everybody going again. And then I think it just took that one bounce. He drew a big penalty there early in the third, and we scored on that. And then after that, it was like, all right, we're coming back.
And you guys did it, which is just utterly incredible, sweeping the final. A championship 34 years in the making, of course. The Barons were the last team from the Pollock division to win the Schmalz Cup back in 91. Derek, you sit there in an interesting position. I mean, all you seem to do is win, first of all. 3 straight division titles. And then you come over back this year on a team that really loaded up after going deep the year prior. And I know I talked to all you guys at different points throughout the run about how important it was to all of you guys to come back and get the job done. Well, you've done that, and you got named playoff MVP. And before I ask you about that, I just got to read off the stats for everybody because they're gross. A 22-3-2 record, 3 shut pieces, a 226 goals against, 926 save percentage, 771 saves. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, how the hell does it feel to be the MVP of the playoffs?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It feels really good. All the boys have a lot of faith in me out there, so it's very assuring to play behind for sure, because, they trust me, I can trust them. And, you mentioned on winning 3 in a row. It's been good and awesome to win those 3, but I've been on 3 damn good hockey teams as well, so I can't take full credit for that at all.
Spoken like a true hockey player. I want to ask you, Callie, obviously your team, now you guys, it's one thing to win a championship. Like, it's an amazing accomplishment, but the way you guys won is even more impressive. I mean, you had a really stiff test coming out of the Pollock division. You guys had a great series with Aurelia, who are a surprising team. You get by them in 5. You go to war with Napanee, and a lot of people were kind of saying this could actually potentially be the final, and it kind of lived up to that. You had to go 7 deep with them. You sweep Essex. Your team had the top 4 scorers in the playoffs. You were one of those, Callie. What was it like for you to be the captain of a group like this that not only wanted to win, but did so in what looks from the outside like dominant fashion, but you guys showed up and played the same way all the time? As a captain, what's it like leading a group like that?
There aren't really words to describe kind of how our group came together. Regular season's one thing, but over my 4 years, watching a group come together in the playoffs is something completely different. We had a bit of an older group, I think, and everybody played a leadership role. All the 03s, all the 04s, 05 stepped up. Like, everybody just came together, and even the guys who weren't dressed, like, there can be a lot of animosity from people not getting their chances, not getting to play, but we had none of that. So to have those guys come on those 4-hour bus trips and rally behind our group, cheer just as loud as they would if they were just on the bench with us, it's unbelievable to have that, and having that positivity from guys that played 4 games or 2 games in the playoffs to guys that played 29. It's just that's what really drove us to win an All-Ontario championship. So.
Yeah, well, it certainly looks that way. And I mean, I think it's awesome, too, that you mentioned earlier that in that final game, like, Spencer Davidson's a guy that's stepping up and giving a speech. Like, he wasn't in the lineup for a good chunk of that playoff run. Colin McIsaac gets hurt, and he goes right back in and starts throwing people around with thunderous body checks. Like, he went back to just business as usual. And I think that says a lot about how tight your group was. And on that note, Hartsey, like, being back there on this great team, the defenders in front of you, like, you guys had just an unbelievable defense core that did everything and more. Lots of great offense as well. But when it came to defending the zone, they really did their job. What was it like to be able to play behind that D-core and, feel like you always had support?
Yeah, I felt really good, obviously. They bailed me out a few times for sure. If I missed a puck or something going across the crease, they were usually there. So that was very nice for that aspect. And, late games, they got pucks out when we needed to, kept the other team away from us when they were pressuring us 6-on-5 and stuff like that. So it was really, really nice to play behind.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of depth, and you win a championship, you're going to get contributions up and down the lineup. A lot of great balanced scoring, guys chipping in, killing penalties. Your 4th line throughout the playoffs was outrageous, and Cohen Galbraith was on it for a little bit of the first bit, and then he got elevated. Like, that kid was 16 years old, and he looked like a horse out there. Just top to bottom, veteran guys, like you said, Callie, young guys like him. I highly doubt he'll be playing Junior C next year. Just incredible stuff. I want to touch on a guy that I kind of had a bit of a running joke with, and that's the leading scorer of the playoffs, Mark McIntosh from Elora, Ontario. 61 points in 29 games. That's freak show stuff. I joked with him after game 3. I was like, "You're from planet Earth, right, Mark? Did you guys ever see a spaceship dropping him off? Like, that guy is human, right, Callie?"
Yeah. He's just a winner. There's no other way to put it. I felt last year we needed another horse, and that guy was the exact thing and more that we needed. So pretty unbelievable stuff he was able to do night in and night out. It wasn't like he was hot and cold and hot and cold. It was consistency, point after point, and setting up things. Even if they didn't work out, he'd go back, dig for the puck again, set somebody else up. And unbelievable guy to play with. I was fortunate enough to play with him for part of the playoffs, and unbelievable to watch too. Just, a real gamer.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And I mean, that point total is something that people are going to talk about in Hanover and beyond for a long, long time. I know we certainly will. I'm interested in kind of the internal, because we get to cover the team and we really appreciated getting to be around you guys and follow the journey, but all of us watch, we're not in the room. You guys know what the battle is like. You guys are in there together. You're the ones getting it done. But we did get to see some interesting moments, including on the way to Napanee for game 7. Obviously you lost game 5. Quiet bus ride home. I could hear everybody, but then you come back for game 6. Great win on home ice. You're going into hostile territory in a huge game 7. We all on the bus drive by the Clarington rink. And of course, that's where your season ended the year prior. And I know that they made a point to do that. Mike Fisher, the director of hockey ops, wanted to go by the arena. I'm curious just how much that was a motivator for you guys. Did you guys all look over there and see that and think, not a big deal? Or did you all look over that and say, yeah, we're not doing that again?
Yeah, 100%. It was, of course, driving by there, you're not going to forget last year. It sucked, but as I've said to many people, I just think that we ran out of gas. We didn't quite know what it took to play that deep. It's six hard rounds. There's not an easy round. So to play 4 of those, get over the Pollock division hump, win that North Conference against Alliston, which from my understanding at that point we were underdogs. So getting to Clarington was, I think, enough for a lot of our group. So being able to drive by there, and Mike Fisher definitely made a point of doing that, but being able to drive by there and have even 2 minutes of quick recollection, that sucked. We want to keep playing hockey. This isn't enough for us yet. And I think hopefully that answers kind of what you're getting at there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, message delivered and acted upon. And I mean, then you go into the game 7 and have an unbelievable performance. One of the best game 7s I've ever seen. It was back and forth. And I mean, Derek, you're in net and you're watching this, and it gets to 2-2. And then the guy on the screen with us here scores an absolutely unbelievable goal, just fighting through 3 sticks, cut to the middle, shelf, bar down, absolutely nasty game winner. You're sitting in the crease watching that happen. Right then, did you know, okay, we're going all the way here?
Actually at that point, I was happy by all means, but they have came back on us 2 games in their own barn, being down a goal in the final minutes. So I was, in the back of my head there, it was still, they can come back. Let's not get too comfortable here. But absolutely, I was very, very pumped up when he scored that goal. And, it was a tough game to finish off. But once we got that 4th one, I was pretty satisfied with our ability to close out games.
Well, and you guys did that all playoff long, and that was a huge one. I mean, a game 7 at any stage of the playoffs is something special, and you want to be on the winning side of it, obviously, and you guys were in very dramatic fashion. Callie, you talked a little bit, we referenced Mike Fisher, obviously your director of hockey ops. I know you guys all call him Poppy, and he's quite a character. But like throughout the organization, like the one thing that definitely stuck out, especially to us on the bus ride with, Lori and the coaches, like everybody coming along. There's a lot of people in that organization that make things happen, old Schwippy, like Will Schwipp, like everybody, Caitlin. There's a lot of people involved in the machine that makes up a junior hockey team. How special is it to have all of them be part of this celebration too? Because you guys are the ones getting it done on the ice, but there's a lot of people, the coaches, the executive, everybody right on down that made it happen with you. How special is that, Callie?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because like you said, there's so much that goes into it. Small town hockey, like Kate, Lori, I'm going to miss names. That's just unfortunately, but like Kate, Lori, Schwipp, our coaching staff, Lucas, Pete, they all put in hours upon hours, whether it's watching video or getting the rink set up or selling booze at the rink. Like it's just, there's so much that goes into it that we as players don't see. So being able to get the job done this year is unbelievable, not only for us, but to be able to look them in the eye and see kind of how happy they are that 20 years for some of them has finally kind of paid off and they've been able to see it go the distance. So yeah, so much goes into it behind the scenes that we just don't get to see, but we do really appreciate.
Well, and that's pretty evident. And I know, again, I was bummed out I couldn't be there to see the celebrations, which I'm sure were pretty legendary. I was on the bus after that Game 7 win in Napanee, and that was a rowdy ride home. That was a lot of fun to be a part of that. I can only imagine what it was like in Essex when the final, when the goal went in overtime. You talk about the organization and how special it is for them. Derek, and I want to ask you specifically about this because obviously another big aspect of this is your families and your parents and your friends, your girlfriend, like everybody. And I reference that with you specifically because your dad basically stood right next to our broadcast booth for a good chunk of the playoffs. And we always talk to him after the game, like just such a hockey dad, like totally invested in your success and you playing well and you enjoying it most of all. How great is that to be able to chat? And, like your brother who was part of the team at one point too, I know he was there for the celebrations, like getting your friends and family out there on the ice with you to celebrate something like this. That had to feel pretty damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one of the most supportive hockey families that is out there by all means. This hasn't been noticed, but my mom always bought oranges and stuff for the boys in between periods for the dressing room. And, that's a big shout out to her for doing that because they were all gone by the time the game was over. Boys for sure loved that from her. And, just to hear them cheering me on and, congratulating me at the end of that was very, very lovely and awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, the hockey families, they're the best. There's so much sacrifice, and it's great when something like this happens. Callie, I want to ask you, as the captain, a local kid, a guy that cares a lot about the organization, bringing a championship like this back to Hanover after such a long time, wearing the letter, what are you going to remember best about being a Hanover Baron? Outside of obviously bringing this championship, what was so special to you about being a Hanover Baron?
It'd be tough for me to pick one thing. I mean, main memories I have are late in playoffs, showing up to the rink 10-6, playing Mount Forest, and our fans are lined up outside. Over 1,000 people coming to get behind their town and watch us play. Like, those are memories I'll have forever. There are so many, but that's one thing that's gonna gonna always stick with me. So
yeah, I mean the support was ridiculous. Like, and for us, broadcasting the games, like that's the atmosphere you want. Like that, like it makes it so much fun for us showing up there, and there's just so much life in the building 2 hours before puck drop, and people are, amped up. They got the sweaters on. It was just something to behold.
and
Derek,
and sometimes, sorry, one more, like sometimes you
please.
playing, like, and Derek can attest to this as well, like you're in the moment, so you don't really soak it all in. But looking back on videos you guys posted, you, Johnny, and Steve, like we'll have those forever. I'm sure every single guy on our team has taken hours now to just look back at that stuff and really soak it in. Because like when you're playing, you're trying to stay in it, and you can't really appreciate those things as much as you can after the fact. So
absolutely. And well, and on that note, I want to make sure everybody's aware, Steve and I are going to pull the entirety of the final series from our radio logs at CKNX. We're going to pull every second of every game of the 4-game sweep, and it'll be posted. And if anybody wants copies of them, let us know. Email us. We'll be happy to provide you with the MP3s to obviously keep forever. So yeah, it's just a great thing to watch you guys do this. Like I said, like we were there right from the start of the playoff run throughout the season. I'm incredibly, from a distant standpoint, I'm incredibly proud of what you guys did, and you should be too. And I'm thrilled that this happened. Derek, I referenced obviously coming home after Game 7. That was a fun bus ride. Take me through a bit of the after party. I'm sure you guys are still probably recovering a little bit. It's only been a few days. Was Pete the King Irwin? Did some Elvis happen? Like, take us through the scenes afterward.
No, there was no Elvis come out that night.
Wow.
I don't know. I was starving after the hockey game, and Fish ordered food to Hanover, so we sat on the bus starving for like 4 hours. But start off with that. Booze kind of filled the stomach up a little bit, but
yeah.
Yeah, then we got home, back to Callie's house, unpacked the bus, went to Callie's, had some pizza, drank some beers, played some pool. It was an awesome night.
Absolutely. Well, I want you guys to be aware of this, because I need you guys to be witness and make sure that this happens, because if fans of this show crank the clock back about a month ago, I had Pete on this show, and I made him promise me that if you guys won the Schmalz, that I would get some Heartbreak Hotel. Now, I need this to occur. There's going to be a big celebration on May 31st. It's going to be awesome. We're all going to be there. Can't wait. I need you guys to ensure that Pete delivers on this promise, because I need to hear some Heartbreak Hotel, gentlemen. All right?
Hey, he promised it, so yep. Well, we got your back.
Yeah,
it's on recording. So, Pete,
there you go.
I know you're watching this. I'm ready for Heartbreak Hotel.
So are we.
No heartbreak for you guys. Just an incredible run. Like I said, so cool for us. Especially if I can get personal for a minute, especially for Steve. Like, Sabby's been doing this. This is our 20th year of CKNX junior hockey. And Sabby's never seen a Schmalz Cup championship. We've seen a couple Sutherlands, one last year, incredible with Listowel. The first one, of course, your head coach and assistant coach were on that squad. That was amazing. Never seen a Schmalz Cup. And so to be able to cover this, I'm speaking for myself, JK, and Sabby, we are so thrilled for you guys. We're incredibly proud of what you did. and we're incredibly thankful to all you guys for putting up with us, letting me come out on the ice and bug. I know it's not always fun to have the media guy out there with the mic. We really, really appreciate it. You guys deserve this. I can't wait to see you on the 31st. Thank you guys both so much for doing this, eh? Congratulations, boys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ryan. Thanks for having us on here. And yeah, thank you guys for all you've done. Like I said, so many memories you guys have built for us. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ryan.
Absolutely, boys. Thank you so much, Ryan Colquhoun and Derek Hartley of your Schmalz Cup champion, Hanover Barons. We'll take a quick break, come back with a very special guest on the show next to talk about the playoffs. We'll take a quick break here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. What a change of scenery. I'm dog sitting now in Ingersoll, Ontario, so I am not at home, as you can see, with the accompanying Pearl Jam posters, which is fine by me. Who doesn't love Eddie Vedder? And I've done this to you before as we are joined. I said at the end of the last segment we were going to be joined by someone very special. It's my co-host, Clarkey. Welcome back, Clarkey.
I'm back.
He's back.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
It's good to have you back, brother. And I did this to you a couple years ago when I referenced Pearl Jam as well. The Leafs, as Eddie Vedder once said, are still alive.
Hold on. Are those velvet?
What do you mean?
The posters, are they velvet? Like, are they like they're really like?
No.
Do you color them, or are they actual posters? Okay,
they're real posters. Yeah, I didn't color
they're not
those
velvet.
in,
they're not
dude.
Velvet or anything. Okay,
no.
If you're listening,
show.
you gotta watch and see this. What we're looking at here.
They are wild posters.
They are wild.
I think both of these are from Indiana. Here's the deal on the posters quickly.
Yeah.
My friends Jeremy and Liz, who are in Scotland right now, that's why I'm watching their two gigantic dogs. They're the best.
Yeah.
They have seen Pearl Jam like 50 times, and Pearl Jam has a different show poster every show, and Jeremy has made it a point to collect them. These are two of about 60 posters.
Wow.
So they're everywhere.
Okay, go ahead.
So there
now.
you go.
Go into it. Let's get into this.
What would you like to get into, Mr. Clark? Why don't you lead the way
same,
here?
We're watching the same thing all over again, right? Like we've seen this movie before. It's the same thing over again with the Maple Leafs. Now, as we speak, they're still going to Game 6 here, right?
Yeah, this is Thursday that we're talking.
Yeah,
so
this is Thursday. But I tell you, that was a disgrace on Wednesday night. Absolute disgrace. You know what I call him. You know my nickname for this guy.
Oh, and but did he ever earn it?
Did he ever? Mr. Fancy Pants. And I was sort of hoping you were going to get Dart Guy on, because we've heard nothing but from Dart Guy, but this guy is the be-all and end-all. Anyone who doesn't think this guy should be a Maple Leaf for life should be...
We will get him on. We will get him on.
Now, again, I hope these guys prove me wrong in Game 6 and 7. But...
Should we address that immediately before we dive into what went down? Because that is the caveat here that is so interesting, weird, enticing. They could still win this series.
They can.
Which feels crazy to say after what everybody witnessed on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But they could do it. It will be one of the most miraculous body language, overall effort turnarounds we've maybe seen in the history of this league.
I don't know if we have to go that far. But.
I'm going that far.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys. Bob McKenzie.
Because let's move out of
no momentum that goes from game to game. Momentum is earned in the first part of a game, and it does not ever go game to game. We'll see.
Okay.
But
the Panthers have moved it game to game. They, up until Nick Robertson scored to break Bobrovsky's shutout streak with a minute
what a
6
moment
left.
Too. It was amazing.
The Panthers, from the overtime winner in Game 3. That's the crazy thing. Leafs could have went up 3-0.
That is
the overtime winner.
There's no doubt that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
The Leafs are a goal, a post away from
and that's the playoffs. Sometimes stuff like that happens, and you could accept that type of sentence, that type of logic, if we weren't talking about this team, because when Brad Marchand scored that goal, weird a goal as it was, the Panthers scored the next 9 goals in the series. The Leafs got almost back-to-back shut-pieced by a guy that, and that's why I say it will be the most incredible turnaround I've ever seen, simply because of the way they lost and the fact that they're staring down a Hall of Fame goaltender who looks absolutely dialed. Now, do you want to get into like what all we saw in that game? There's so many things that we can touch on.
Yes, we have to.
I don't feel like the only thing I'd say about the first goal, the second goal, okay. The first goal, Matthews pulls a Mr. Fancy Pants no-look spinorama off the end wall and gets beaten to a puck by a guy much smaller than him. And it jumps out in front, and there's Ekblad to rip it home. But that third goal that you talked about, and that's where everybody's going, these core 4 guys, but in particular Mitch and Matthews are really getting it right now.
Yeah.
But you look at it and go like, what else do you want us to say about these guys in moments like this? We just react. It's like Jeff O'Neill always says, Clarkey, we just react to what they do.
Right, exactly.
We don't sit there. We're not crapping on these guys. No. I bet you they're great guys. No. Like, I'm not trying to like take personal shots at people.
There's a problem. There's a problem with these guys. Like, there's a problem. Like, I mean, like,
how's it possible to make a play like that? And it's one thing to make the blind backhand that goes 90 feet down the ice. The fact that it goes 90 feet down the ice and he doesn't recover on the back check and lets Boqvist, a guy that just got in the lineup, go to the net and score. And now Jesper Boqvist has more goals in this series than Austin Matthews. Take over, Clarkey. I mean, like, I'm going to
drop something on you that you don't know.
Do it.
What did you think of the fan reaction at the game yesterday?
I thought it, like, in summation or as the game progressed, like
everything. Yeah.
The whole of it.
Yeah. The booing and everything else.
I thought it was completely vindicated. The throwing of jerseys is goofy.
Here's what I'm dropping on you.
Yeah.
Guess who was at the game?
Were you there?
I was there.
Oh, Chris.
You know that I've been going through some stuff, and I'm glad I'm back on the show. But my daughter asked me if we wanted to go to the game. She had an opportunity to get some tickets, and I was like, I don't want the hassle.
Chris.
And then I said, you know what? You're right. We need an escape. Well, let's go.
Yes,
let's go.
You did.
So off we went. We left Grand Bend at around 3:00 in the afternoon. Got to Oakville Go at 6 o'clock. Got the train. Got down there for the anthem. Everything was great. And then they dropped the puck. And then I watched guys floating. We had great seats, 100 level, right behind the net, like 30 rows up, but still, it was a
great sight
good
line.
Seats. Yep. We could see everything. You could see everything happen. I've never seen a bunch of players skating around. Like, honestly, I'm sure Mitch had figure skates on.
Man, and again, like, we're sitting here.
Like, all he cared about was doing fancy stuff with his feet. That's all he cared about. He comes back. They get the puck at the blue line. Here comes Mitch. He comes circling down right in front of his own net, through the crease, going up. I'm like, what are you doing? Can we just go north and south hard? Like, why do we need to do loop-de-loops? We don't need to do that.
Loop-de-loops. Yeah, I am in pain for you right now.
It was painful. It was the
there.
worst playoff game probably in the history of the team, and I was there. If there was a worse game, I don't remember it. I really don't.
I will concur with you with that in that, because like, have there been more painful losses? Of course there have. You lose in game 7, you lose in overtime. Game 7, like last year, and so of course, more painful losses.
Well, this wasn't painful. Like, and in fact, like
it was abusive.
The whole crowd was like, "Can we see something here?" It's third period. You're down 6-0. Honestly, everyone was saying it. Run the goalie. Run somebody. Get a suspension. Do something. Fight somebody. You know what? The Florida Panthers were way more aggressive, up 6-0.
Oh, they were
still hitting people, still running people, not stopping. I guarantee if that was the Leafs up 6-0, they would be running away from people, not wanting to get hurt. Florida just kept going. And
I'm glad. What? I'm glad you said that, because, like, look, we hear all the time about guys that win. I don't care the sport, but this one in particular, the pain that you go through, the sacrifice that it takes to win, and ultimately, I've said before, like, and Bonesy, like our buddy Joe Bowen has been on the show before and has said too, like, I don't think that, like, they don't care or they don't try. No. It's just the way that they try is not conducive to succeeding in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. I genuinely think that these guys don't want to be hurt by sacrificing their bodies.
Correct. 100%
to make plays happen.
100% accurate. 100%. They have to make... Dude, honestly, like, we've said this for the last 4 years. But if they come back with this same group, then, like,
I will be, and again, he's an incredibly talented player. I'll be floored if Mitch Marner is back on this roster.
Well, I said at the beginning of the year, you said they were going to sign him. I said, not a chance. And, hey, listen, they can still win game 6 and 7. They can. They can do it.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's what's so weird about having this chat right now.
Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong.
Yeah, we're willing to be proven wrong.
As we speak right now, I don't see it. I don't see it. I didn't think they were going to win games 5 and 6 against Boston, but they did to bring it to 7.
Hope's a funny thing, right? Because, like, as a fan, of course you have hope, even in the worst moments. Like, look, like, I watched some dark stuff happen to my franchise.
Yeah, but they made some changes. They got rid of Semin, the floater. They got rid of guys. They got rid of guys.
They ever make changes?
They made changes, and they got better. They might not have got, like...
No, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But here's the difference too, right? Because people are really on Austin and Mitch. I mean, and we can go all over the place with this.
So.
Yes. And I'm going to rifle some stats off, but it really does. It gets more and more bothersome and almost offensive to me when friends of mine who are big Leaf fans, a guy did it to me the other night that I'm buddies with, was like, well, you could have said the same thing about your two guys, right? Like Backstrom and Ovechkin. And I was like, except that those two guys always showed up and did stuff. They produced in games 5, 6, 7. They scored big goals. The group around them and the wagon wheel of goaltenders that we went through back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk about Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner like they're Nick Backstrom and Alex Ovechkin. Stop doing it to me, guys. It's offensive. It really is. Now, that all said, these guys could turn this around and do this, but the only way that they're going to do it and win back any favor with this fan base, and I know the Leaf fan base really well. I grew up here. I know what's going on. If there's one thing Leafs fans love, it's the lunch pail guys.
Yeah, 100%.
When I used to go to games, there were almost as many, if not more, Tucker jerseys, Roberts jerseys,
for sure,
Cross jerseys, McCabe jerseys.
Yep.
For as maligned as he could be, McCabe, he played hard. as there were Sundin jerseys.
For sure.
And Neuendijk jerseys. And
For sure.
McGillney jerseys, Joseph jerseys.
Yeah, absolutely.
These guys have to find a way to win these games. And we've said for years too here, Clarkey, well, we don't expect Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews to run people through the wall. You know what? I do now. Please completely coin flip and become 2002 Darcy Tucker.
Yeah,
please. It's the only way these guys will be able to revive any good vibes with this fan base after Wednesday. It was bad enough, all the crazy shortcomings over the last few years in the playoffs. Wednesday hit. James Duthie said it best after the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the TSN
I tried
YouTube
on the
show
Go Train.
after.
Yeah, I tried.
Really good. He said, it's crazy to me that it's not that they all obviously weren't better. They weren't even the same. Somehow they managed to be worse.
How do you do that? Dude, I don't understand how
you make
happens.
spinorama backhands.
That was as soon as it happened. As soon as it happened, I said to my daughter, I said to Amanda, I said, "Oh, look at that spinorama from Mr. Fancy Pants." And maybe 6 seconds later, it's in the back of the net because he couldn't check the guy. He does some go. Like, it's just so weak. It's just so ridiculous. Like, this guy who
Boakvist, man.
Dark guy, and I'm going to be calling him out. I don't care if he goes to another team and scores 110 points. I don't care. It doesn't matter how many points he gets in the regular season. And you know what? He may go to a team and win a cup. He may do that. And then Dark Guy will say, see? But the bottom line is he can't do it on this team. Because this team, the composition of this team doesn't allow that. If he had a bunch of Sam Bennett's around him and Matthew Tkachuk's around him and Brad Marchand's around him, maybe he could.
Yeah,
maybe
if he was insulated by that, Jack Eichel, right?
But he's surrounded by Willie Nylander and by Austin Matthews. They're the same guy.
That's the thing, right? It's like they try, but they only know how to try one way, and it's a skill way.
Correct.
It's not a will way.
Correct.
And the issue is that when you get into the playoffs, specifically through a first round, it only gets harder. And guess what? The other team that you're playing also has skilled players.
For sure.
And when
they're playing the Stanley Cup champs. We get that. You know what happens when you play the Stanley Cup champs? You know what happens? You have to elevate your game.
Yes, you do.
And we have not seen that at all.
The problem is, at the heart of it, no matter what you want to say about these stats, those stats, and I'll read some, when the other team's skilled players also decide we're going to become bulldozers, and you don't, and you remain in a sedan, well, the bulldozers push you off the side of the cliff.
They played scared yesterday. They were scared.
Boy, scared is a gentle word
and
for
like
it.
I don't know,
horrified.
No, yeah, and I don't know what you saw on TV, but I saw a lot off, which I'm sure wasn't on TV. That it was embarrassing. Like, there's no doubt, this team was embarrassed.
A lot of head hanging.
Yeah. And it wasn't
Craig
my
Berube
jersey, by the way. That
no,
was
I know it was.
I didn't throw the jersey.
I know that,
but
you're
I did
not that
say
guy.
to Amanda. I said to Amanda about 5 minutes before. I said, "Can we bet on whose jersey gets thrown on the ice?" And she didn't look it up, I don't think, to see, but it was Matthews.
It was Matthews.
It should have been Marner's, and it should have been on fire, but it wasn't.
Who cares ultimately, like, whose jersey it was?
No, I get it. I know it's ridiculous to throw a jersey in the first place, but whatever.
So,
you can waste your money if you want.
Yeah, going into Game 5.
Yeah,
Mike Kelly, who works for Sport Logic, does a bunch of NHL analysis.
Yeah,
Austin Matthews has 401 career regular season goals.
Beautiful.
He has generated 318.7 expected goals, which is a number of different factors: where you shoot the puck from, where average NHL shots go in from, stuff like that, right? So he has a plus 82.3 goal differential in the regular season based off expected goals. He scores way above the rate of regular players in the regular season. In the playoffs, he has 25 career goals, expected goals 28.7 for a negative 3.7 differential. It is wild to me that we're heading into a game 6 and this guy has no goals in this series. And I'm sorry, I know that you can sit there and go, he plays well defensively.
I don't care. I don't care.
Thank you.
I don't care. We're not paying a guy $13 million to be Mark Osborne.
No, you're not. You are not.
I'm sorry. We're not doing
right.
it.
No,
it's
I know.
Ridiculous.
You're right.
I get in this argument with good old Max at work. God love him. He's a huge Mitch fan. And he throws stats at me. Like, these guys are playing great two-way hockey, great defensive hockey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Score goals. You're paid to score goals. You got to score goals. And, like, there's no doubt in my mind, out of Mitch and Matthews, Matthews hurt. And I know it's not an excuse, but he's hurt. And how do we know?
I can't do that either.
His velocity on his shot is way down. They were comparing that.
Okay.
He can't shoot the puck as hard as he did. There's something going on with him. But you know what? There's something going on. But with Mitch,
I don't care.
With Mitch, it's just lack of effort and lack of wanting. He just wants to show off. That's all he wants to do is show off. And he wants to make that spinorama pass to spring Matthews onto a breakaway. It wasn't going to happen. He didn't have to do it. It was absolutely ridiculous.
On that note, you mentioned, Florida scoring quickly off that. They lead the playoffs in goals scored off turnovers at 17.
Well, they have their opportunities against the Leafs, that's for sure.
10 of those 17 goals off direct turnovers were scored within 10 seconds of the turnover. It's just an astronomical set. And that's what we're talking about. Those skilled guys are coming at you fast. They're running through you, and you have no response. Now, on the Matthews hurt thing, I'd be willing to waive that off if this was year 2 or 3. I'm sorry. When Washington won the Cup, Nick Backstrom had a severely broken right hand. Yevgeny Kuznetsov had a severely injured hip. Patrice Bergeron, now Boston lost in this Stanley Cup final in 2013, had a punctured lung in the Stanley Cup final and produced a bunch of points. The guy had a hole in his air sac. A hole. I can't do this.
I get it, man.
Find a way to. You put a uniform on. O-Dog says this all the time on Overdrive too.
I'm not making
an
excuse. I'm just saying there's something going on.
No,
with
I
him.
know what you mean.
There's something happening.
We're gonna hear.
I don't know if we will. I don't know if we will.
Yeah, we will. We're gonna, because they love an
will.
excuse. They love it. They're gonna tell us that he went to Germany and had a bionically repaired arm. He's got a robot arm. That's what they're going to tell us. And we're supposed to do what with that at this point? Go, oh, well, I mean, what did you expect him to do? He's got a bionic arm.
Yeah. I've heard nerve problems.
You've got a bionic
I've heard a lot
arm?
of things. I don't care.
Get a massage. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Now, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. 10 minutes left in the show. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to touch on here?
No. All I want to say is,
by the way, really quickly,
and I know it's Game 5. Leafs are going to Game 6. I just wanted to point out that my team has gone further than your team and Adam's team.
That's worth.
Adam's team. Let's start with Adam's team, the Colorado.
That's worth
Avalanche.
a lot to you.
How would you like to see Mikko Rantanen do what he did to our team? Oh my goodness. I cannot understand how and Adam, you can pipe in. The Colorado Avalanche general manager should not be around. He should be fired.
I don't think that Joe Sakic, they won a Stanley Cup under his tutelage.
That was one of the dumbest things you could ever have done.
So I could chime in. Chris
go
McFarland's
ahead.
the GM right now, and Joe's director of hockey ops, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So
That's right.
Chris did
But
make the
Joe
trade.
rubber stamped that.
But for sure. But it looked really good at the time. We got some
don't
good
know if it
players.
did or
He was
not,
being
man.
traded
I
out of our
Well,
conference.
those guys that they got back played really well.
and they played really well in
They're
that
not
series.
Rantanen. They're not Rantanen.
No.
But it's not like the guys that they got back were garbage.
Right. And
They-
we saved
they
cap
weren't.
space at the same time. So
But
So I'm glad
but
you brought
again,
up
it
Rantanen.
doesn't matter in the regular season, man. It's in
No.
playoffs that matter. And
No, I
it was
know,
a
but-
demoralizing
but he's a good
period
player.
of hockey for me to watch. Let's put it that way.
I find it ironic you're trying to explain to Adam, who watched his team win a Stanley Cup in HD,
I get
that it
it.
matters in the playoffs. By the way, Rantanen, what a freak! 9 goals so far in his 11 games. We're recording this on Thursday. I'm literally watching number 12. So Rantanen has 9 goals in 11 games so far. Tonight being number 12 in this playoff run. This one with Dallas.
And the guy who Mitch Marner wouldn't accept the trade for, so Leafs could.
Yes. Well, I'm glad
Let's
you
just
brought
throw
it.
that in there too.
Well, I'm glad
Do
you
you want to
brought
hear
that
something
up.
that's even
Mr.
worse?
Fancy
Really
Pants.
quick. Do you want to hear something that's worse? Rantanen scores a hat trick to put my team out. He scores a
Yes.
hat trick in the very next game to ruin my wife's team's first game in their series.
Yes.
So it was a double
the guy,
ouchie.
he is a legitimate animal.
He is.
So 9 goals in 11 games so far in these playoffs. Last 48 playoff games dating back to 2020. 48 playoff games. Mitch Marner has 8 goals, and Austin Matthews has 15. Wow. Yeah. I really hope they somehow turn it around and do something miraculous. It would be insane. I feel
Because
like they owe
again,
it to you.
here we go.
They owe it to
here
you,
we go.
Clarkey.
Here we go.
Seriously.
Because now the winner plays the Carolina Hurricanes, and honestly,
Carolina Hurricanes.
the Leafs could beat them.
The
Leafs match up well
Could.
against the Hurricanes. They're not a
Sure.
team like Florida. They're not the pounding team like Florida. They aren't.
I
They're
disagree
not.
with that.
They're a high speed match some offense. That's why I see it. But
They have great defensemen and a goaltender playing out of his mind, which is hilarious.
you just have to shoot the puck on the net. Now your guy let in a bad one too tonight, but you have
two bad ones.
You
Two
have
bad
to
ones.
shoot the puck from the corners like Carolina did.
Right.
No, I'm just saying because that's what Freddie does. Freddie does that.
Well, this looks like a new Freddie because he's not Toronto Freddie anymore. He's Carolina Freddie.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think Carolina, the work rate that they have and the fact that the Leafs are going to run into the same problem. A team with skilled players that play harder than them.
Let's just get games 6 and 7 under our belts first before
We'll see. I hope we come back next week and it's good news.
That
for you.
would be
I'd like to see
unbelievable.
At least it'd be cool if one of our teams, kept the ride going.
if they win the next
I know
two
you're
games,
trying to tease
if they
me
win the
right
next
now.
2 games, I will wear this shirt for every show for a year.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay?
Yep, that's fine for a year. I'd like to see
year.
you in something different.
Nope.
I know you're trying to kind of tease me about my guys.
No,
yeah,
I'm not. You guys had a good
Carolina
season.
beating Washington. Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, they did.
You
We
weren't
watched a
expected
guy-
to win the conference and do what you did.
No,
you weren't expected
you're-
to do that. You
you're-
played well. That's fine. It's good.
You're right. We are at a stage where I can say that about them. I'm not happy with the way they played in the series.
No, in fact, in the first round,
But-
you were calling for heads to roll.
I was not happy with the third periods in game 1 and 2. Then they woke up and they put the hammer down on a much weaker Montreal team, and Tom Wilson exploded a guy into another galaxy, and everyone went, "Oh yeah, actually we're way better than them," and they were.
Yeah.
Carolina, not enough soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
I thought game 5, was their best game, arguably. I mean, they won a game. I still thought they played well in game 5. Yeah, overall, a lot of young guys, more great young guys coming. I'm not worried about Wash. I'm not happy with how that series went, but overall,
Yep.
okay with the season. I don't want to be talking about this in 9 years, but Yeah, I don't know, Clarkey. What are your final thoughts here? Just because
No, it's almost like we've done our post-mortem on the Leafs already, but we will have to do that next week probably.
Isn't that weird? God, like, what on earth were they thinking? How did they come out like that? Like, man,
It is mind-boggling. No, maybe. Hey,
it's crazy.
Maybe that's better than losing a game in overtime, triple overtime. I don't know. Like maybe it's better. Maybe it's better. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And like the way they played game 3 in Florida, the way they started that game, they should have won that game. There's no doubt they should have won that game. I mean, there's two TSN turning points in this series, if you ask me. One is that overtime goal, and the second is Stolarz getting hurt. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
One I would also say, because the series tied 2-2, the Marner spinorama. Because when that game hit 3-0,
but if they win that game in overtime, if they win game 3 in overtime, I think we're already talking about a round conference final.
We're looking at something different, but right now we're looking at things that are the same, and they again have an opportunity to turn the tide.
They just can't score. Again. Look, it's 1-0 yesterday, and Lawton and someone else hits the post within 10 seconds of each other. They can't score. They just can't score. It's like they had Bob beat on both of those shots, and they couldn't score. And then Benoit has a glorious opportunity. Nyes has a glorious opportunity.
Nylander breakaway.
They can't score. And then I don't know who it was. I couldn't tell you. Defenseman gets the puck for Florida. I think it was their 4th goal, and just takes a shot at the top of the faceoff circle. Boom, in. Like, come on, Wall.
Oh, Mikkola. I think that was the Mikkola goal.
Yeah, it was.
Now, again, I just want to say to everybody who was going like, oh, Joseph Wall. The 4th goal, which by that point the game was already over.
Oh, yeah, you can't blame Joseph Wall.
The 4th goal, you want to save there. It's for 4-0.
Yeah.
The other goals are not like, so anybody.
No, but I still would be more confident with Stolarz in that.
Because of the way he played this year, I understand that, but Wool has not been their problem.
No.
For anybody who claims he is, get your head out of your you know what. I mean, I don't know, buddy.
No.
Well, in closing, nice to have you back. I'm hoping that the Leafs. I'm really hoping for you, buddy. And
me too.
And if they do this, it will be just a seismic tectonic shifting of Earth's plates.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see.
And that's what's so exciting. We could either be back here doing worse.
I guarantee you one thing.
Yes.
I won't be going to Game 7. If there is one.
No.
I'm not going.
That's okay.
I'm not going. I got to get everything right.
I'll rub your shoulders.
I don't think
I'll get you some ice.
Watching it with me either. I just got to get the right outfit. I have not had the right outfit for the last 3 games. Tomorrow night, I got to really channel my inner thoughts when it comes to what to wear. I went with my Matthews reversible jersey yesterday, and it didn't work. So tomorrow night, I got to figure out where we're going with the jersey. I usually wear my Leaf socks on game day. I did that.
Get your Palmatier mask out and put it on. What could go wrong? I think you get the Palmatier mask on, and if you do that and they win, you keep it on, brother, for the rest of the playoffs. You never know.
Let's go.
All right, brother.
Here we go.
Good to have you back.
Game 6. Here we go.
I don't
to Game 6 against the champs.
They're going to score. They're winning.
Hey,
Game
they've scored
7.
the last goal. They've got 1 in a row.
Absolutely, 1 in a row. Remember, you can watch this show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV, Channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. We debut on YouTube. On our channel Friday nights at 9. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. Find the podcast version on all your favorite podcast apps. Thanks again to Ryan Colquhoun and Derek Hartley of the Schmalz Cup champion Hanover Barons. The parade, the celebration is May 31st. It's going to be amazing at the P&H Center. Can't wait. Congratulations to those lads. Again, we will be back next week with more Instigating.
Look at the haircut.